on this, but regardless, hello.
Let's begin, shall we?
Hello there. Alright, let me get things figured out. There we go. Hi, hello, welcome in. Naughty Dog, thank you for 7 streak. Nicely done. Let us get into the movie puzzles, as we always do to start off. We got 10 minutes on the clock. We got to figure out actors' names based on a movie role, quote, or when they won an Academy Award. Alright. So we have an Academy Award winner from 1971. So we're skipping that. Kevin McAllister. Is Macaulay Culkin MAC or MC? Something like that? Mac? Okay. I think we got it right then. Cape Fear, 1991. So it's not Robert De Niro. Who else was in that? Nick Nolte. Those are the only two I remember. Because 91 was the Scorsese version, if I remember right. And then Titanic. The 3 people I can think of that were in that movie, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, and Billy Zane, none of those fit with the number. Juliette Lewis? Possibly. No, too many letters. Or not enough letters, depending on how we're looking at it. Alright, Saving Private Ryan. There's a lot of people in that movie. A lot of them have short names, though, so they don't fit into it. Like, Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, Vin Diesel, I believe, was in the movie. Tom Sizemore? Question mark? Jessica Lange. It could be Jessica Lange. And G. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure who else might have been in Saving Private Ryan that I can think of off the top of my head that would have a bit of a longer last name, or first name, rather. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So it's not Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Rupert Grint. It's not Alan Rickman. It's not Maggie Smith. Actually, not sure who it might be past those. Juno. Michael Cera? Yeah. Alright. For letter last name. So Saving Private Ryan is the first one, so last name would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. Not enough letters in the first name for it to be Berry Pepper. That is a good guess, though. So, Inside Out. I know Amy Poehler was in it, and I know Louis Black was in it. Some of the other ones I don't remember, though. Might have to come back to that one. $1 Million Baby. So it's not Clint Eastwood. It's not Morgan Freeman. S-W-A-N. Nope. Jeremy Davies? He was Upham? For which one? For Saving Private Ryan. Not enough letters. You need 2 more in the first name. Boys in the Hood. I have not seen that movie. So I don't know. Major! Hi, hello. How are you doing today? A-N-N-I-R-I-P-I-S-I? Yeah, that could work. Boys in the Hood, I think, was Ice Cube and Cuba Gooding Jr., and I'm not sure. Oh, is it? No, it's not Regina King. Either you're really quiet or my Fortnite is really loud. Your mic sounds different. I have not changed any of the settings with it. Yeah, just let me know if it's quiet and I can tinker around and see if something is changed. It's a little tinny today. Alright, I might have to reset it after. Major with the 80 stream streak. Well done. We got 2.5 minutes left on our puzzle. The Martian. Kristen Wiig. Jenny Curran. Jack Nicholson. Yeah. Last one is Blood Diamond, so that's going to be either Leonardo DiCaprio or John Bronson. No, or Jennifer Connelly. Nice pool, Naughty Dog. Alright, let's see what we got. Or what we missed. John Mills for Oscar winner 1971. We got most of the letters in Macaulay Culkin, right? We missed Kathy Bates for Titanic. Okay, yeah. Julie Walters for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I believe that was Ron's mother. Bill Hader for Inside Out. They love Bill Hader. $1 Million Baby. Anthony Mackie was in it? Alright. Angela Bassett for Boys in the Hood. Oh, Jenny from Forrest Gump. Robin Wright. And then, yeah, I was able to pull Jennifer Connelly for Blood Diamond, but I finished the puzzle first. So we got 50 played, 92% success rate, so I think we're doing alright. Yeah, my mic is sounding a bit tinny. Let me turn it off and turn it back on again and see if that works. Oh, be right back. Hello, I have returned. Is it sounding any better? Nope, still the same. Yeah, I don't know what changed. I have not changed anything. I don't know. You might get tinny for I don't know if I can know tonight's stream. It's not distracting. It sounds like your computer mic and your headset. If that makes sense. Let me make sure it's pulling from the correct source.
Hi, hello, hello, hi. Is it still sounding the same? Much better? Better. Okay. I went in and changed the source in the actual Streamlab, so something between my computer input and what it was outputting, they changed the device on me, so sorry about that. Sometimes Streamlabs does shit and messes everything up. Alright, glad we figured that out. Now we can hear your dulcet tones. I'm glad you enjoy them. I think what was happening is it tried switching over the input to my webcam because I believe it has a microphone in it, because my actual PC doesn't have a microphone in it. So I never had the issue about having to check which input it was pulling from. But it is what it is. Alright. Now, we can get into the reading and writing part of the reading and writing stream. And first we need to figure out where we left off. Scene 72. Okay. So previously, we had Margaret make her way to San Francisco. She crossed paths. We need to go back to scene 69. We had Margaret going to San Francisco. When she was there, she ended up crossing paths again with Hélène, but of course Hélène does not recognize her because Margaret has changed her face, but she did recognize her from when they crossed paths at the Shawnee settlement and in the trail in the Appalachian Mountains outside of the other Dianic Witch outpost. Hélène has also started on her investigation of the witches being abducted, and part of that led her to invite Margaret to stay with her at the Dianic Witch outpost in San Francisco. Boo, Naughty Dog, boo. All right. I say that, and then we're getting into some things are going to happen. I think that's what the series of scenes are. We'll find out. All right. Interior, spare bedroom, Dianic Outpost, San Francisco, night, 1890. Margaret lies on the bed, made up with mismatched sheets and blankets, wide awake. Lies in bed. Under mismatched sheets and blankets, wide awake. Wide awake does not need a hyphen. Okay. Alright, so we had the conversation with Hélène and Margaret. Hélène leaves saying she's going to go get some blankets, and then we go back to Margaret lying on the bed under the sheets, but she's wide awake. At the same time, we then shift to the workspace of the Dianic Witch Outpost. Unable to sleep, Hélène sits in a chair looking over the marked up map of San Francisco, illuminated by moonlight, ruminating. I don't think we need the illuminated by moonlight. Unable to sleep, Hélène sits in a chair, looking over the marked up map of San Francisco, ruminating. Dejected, realizing she won't get anywhere tonight, Hélène stands. The wooden floor creaks. Get rid of ruminating at the end. Start with Hélène ruminates. Save yourself a line. Yeah. So we could say, unable to sleep, Hélène examines the marked up map of San Francisco. So do that. So we can add that in there. Yay, white space! Exhausted, but unable to sleep, Hélène examines the marked up map of San Francisco. Ruminates is such a good... Yeah. That's one I probably need to use more, because I always feel like I'm reusing considers, contemplates, and mulls as other words for someone thinking about something, but ruminates, I think, fits in with those as well. And I think just realizing she won't get anywhere tonight, Hélène stands. The wooden floor creaks. Pours over. Yeah. Interior, spare bedroom, Dianic Witch Outpost, San Francisco, same. Okay. So do I need to reiterate that she's hearing the creak, or is it clear enough if I remove that Margaret shifts in bed, looks to the door, is because she heard the creak that literally just happened? Or do I need to reiterate that's what causes her reaction? I'm guessing we probably don't need it. Because, like, if I'm seeing it in my head, like, We see Hélène stand, we hear the floor creak, and then... Yeah. Well, I'm keeping the wood floor creaks with Hélène, but I'm just imagining, like, when we cut back to Margaret, I don't think we need to reiterate that she hears the creak. I think just her shifting in bed and looking to the door is clear enough that she heard it and she's looking out. Or she's kind of like, what was that sound? So I don't think we need that. Well, we established in the previous scene that she's wide awake, so she's not able to sleep. So I think we get rid of that and just intrigued. Margaret slips out of bed, tiptoes to the door. Turning the handle, cracking open the door, Margaret peeks out to find Hélène making her way into the next bedroom. Trying to think if I want, don't need to, yeah, I know. I like it though. So we have slips out of bed, so we don't want to use slips out too. It is compulsive. Correct. Oop, I forgot to open our word hippo. Making her way could be chased over the line like wasps or something. Yeah. Yeah, compulsive. It's all about saving pages and freeing white space. I disagree, but I think it's all about, you know, trying to tell a good story. I am messing with you. Yeah. How to find Hélène. Story is great. Amazing stories have white space. retiring. We want a verb, present participle, for to leave one, no, present participle, discharge, no, withdraw, yes. So instead of making her way, should we say Hélène retires to the next bedroom? Slips out. To cause, let's see. She's like going to bed or something herself. Yes, yes, that is what she is doing. To leave or go from someplace. Okay. Scrams, parts, goes away, moves out, runs off, heads off, runs along. No, no, no. Yeah, vamooses, I thought was funny too. I like absconds. No, that... I can just say sneaks out to... to Margaret sneaks down the hallway. Interior corridor, dynamic. Okay, let's reread this one, make sure it works, and then we'll figure out what comes next. Interior spare bedroom, Dianic Witch Outpost, San Francisco, same. What's wrong with slips out or slips away? Because we have she slips out of bed. So I didn't want to have her slip out of bed and then slip out of the room. Oh, this connects to the previous scene. So Hélène stands, the wooden floor creaks. Interior spare bedroom, Dianic Witch Outpost, San Francisco, same. Margaret shifts in bed, looks to the door. Intrigued, Margaret slips. I admittedly like slips out of bed. I can see in my head better than slut. Yeah. Is it just me being weird that we have bed twice in the first two sentences? Because I don't think there's a way to get around that. No, it's fine. Okay. Margaret shifts in bed, looks to the door. Intrigued, Margaret slips out of bed, tiptoes to the door. I think there are just too many repetitive words, so it's a me thing, I know. I mean, you're still weird, but no, yeah. Thank you, Major. I appreciate it. Okay, Margaret shifts in bed, looks to the door. Intrigued, she slips out of bed, tiptoes to the door. Yeah, we had Margaret, bed, and door. All three of those words in both sentences. So do we even need tiptoes to the door? Because we could just say, intrigued, she slips out of bed. Cracking open the door. Yeah, we did, but Margaret lies in bed under the mismatched sheets, wide awake. Okay, here's what we can do. Margaret shifts, looks to the door. Intrigued, she slips out of bed. Tiptoeing to the door. She cracks it open. Hey, I kind of like tiptoes to the door and its own light, like a shot of her feet creeping about. This isn't meant to be a Quentin Tarantino movie, so I don't know about that. Oh, own line. Margaret shifts, looks to the door. Intrigued, she slips out of bed. Tiptoeing to the door, she cracks it open. Peeking out, Margaret finds Hélène retiring to the next bedroom. Compulsive, Margaret sneaks out to it. Okay. Interior spare bedroom, Dianic Witch Outpost, San Francisco. Same. Margaret shifts, looks to the door. Intrigued, she slips out of bed. Tiptoeing to the door, she cracks it open. Peeking out, Margaret finds Hélène retiring to the next bedroom. Compulsive, Margaret sneaks out too. Hell yeah, that's good edit. See? Sometimes my weirdness can get us to where we need to go. Alright. On to the next scene. Margaret sneaks... No. Okay. To move or go in a furtive or stealthy way. Scene 69 plus 6. Up next. Interior, corridor, Dianic Witch Outpost, San Francisco, continuous. I think we can just change this to slinks. Margaret slinks down the hallway, hoping with every step the wooden floor doesn't betray her. Reaching the door to Helene's room, Margaret pauses. I don't think we need pauses. Or that comma. Reaching the door to Helene's room, Margaret listens. Silence. Stealing, Margaret lifts her trembling hand to the door. With her finger, she knocks. Tap, tap, tap. Anxious, she waits. Ah, ah. The handle turns, the door opens. From within, holding a candle, Hélène looks to Margaret. The handle turns, from within, holding a candle. I don't think we need from within. The handle turns, door opens. Holding a candle, Hélène looks to Margaret. I don't know that we need that. I think this sentence needs to go in the previous scene. Okay. Interior corridor, Diana-Quich outpost, San Francisco, continuous. Margaret slinks down the hallway, hoping with every step the wooden floor doesn't betray her. Reaching the door to Helene's room, Margaret listens. Silence. Stealing, Margaret lifts her trembling hand to the door. With her finger, she knocks. Tap, tap, tap. Anxious, she waits. The handle turns, the door opens. Holding a candle, Hélène meets Margaret's eye. Stepping back, Hélène holds the door open. Margaret enters too. I think that needs to be one line. Alright, we're up to 76. Or, what is it? 69 plus 7. There you go. Is that how I'm going to have to refer to every scene from now on? Um, hmm. Interior Helene's bedroom, Dianic outpost, continuous. 1890. So Margaret has just stepped into her bedroom. Helene watches Margaret, curious. Helene, who are you, really? Overcoming her hesitation, Margaret kisses Helene. Yeah, I feel like we're missing some beats here. Okay, I think that's better. Oh, we'll find out. Interior, Helene's bedroom, Dianic Witch Outpost, continuous, 1890. So Margaret just, Helene watches Margaret, curious. Helene, who are you, really? Overcoming her hesitation, Margaret kisses Helene. Margaret, I've wanted to do that since... Margaret looks Helene in the eye, enamored. Helene kisses Margaret, passionate. Inching towards the bed, their hands caress each other's bodies. Kind of want Helene to say something else, but I'm not sure what. Something like that. Musical cue. Sexual healing played by string quartet. I knew what you meant, Major. Alright. Then because we're trying to make this PG-13 and not anything else, we jump to the next day. Alright. Interior workspace, Dianic Witch Outpost, San Francisco, day. Dressed for the day. That's passive. Margaret makes her way into the room to find... feel like we just need Margaret enters... Margaret enters to find Helene and Emiko looking over the marked up map of the city, I think is what we're calling it. Yeah. Margaret enters to find Helene and Emiko looking over the marked up map of the city. Noticing, Helene stifles a smile. So we can actually move this to there. Alright. Interior workspace, Dianic Witch Outpost, San Francisco, day, 1890. Margaret enters to find Helene and Emiko looking over the marked up map of the city. Emiko. Finally awake. Margaret. Sorry, took a while to get to sleep. Helene stifles a grin. Helene, redirecting. You're just in time. I was going over the plan with Emiko to expand our search of the city. Margaret looks to Helene, skeptical. Emiko looks off. Helene. Emiko, will you go with Calixta? Huh? Oh, Emiko will go with Calixta. You'll come with me. Oh, I see what I'm trying to say. You're just in time. Gonna... Going over the plan to expand our search of the city. I don't think we need that. So Helene, sorry to Emiko, looking over. Finally awake. Sorry, took a while to get sleep. Helene stifles a grin. Redirecting. Yeah, that's too much of a... So I want her to say something like... I feel like that should go at the end, not at the beginning. We could use your help. What with? Margaret looks to Helene. Skeptical. Finding the missing witches. We're going to go through every neighborhood until we find something that can lead us to them. Emiko will go with Calixta. You'll come with me. Margaret. What if we run into hunters? Helene. We'll follow them. They're behind the abductions. Where they're keeping them. We'll follow them. If they're behind the abductions, we could find where they're keeping them. Margaret reluctant. I'm grateful for the room and taking me in, but Helene steps towards Margaret, comforting. Hey, you'll be okay. I'll be with you. Margaret meets Helene's eye. Not wanting to lose her again, she forces herself to nod. Alright, think that works. We'll reread it after I get back before we move on to the next scene. But it is just after 6 o'clock in the West Coast, so it is break time. For me. For anyone in chat who would like to participate, it is Words on Stream time! Yay! Yeah, you all know how this works. Letters will appear on the screen. Use letters, make words, wait for the locks on the timer. Words are in alphabetical order. Good luck, have fun. 3, 2, 1, go. Well done, team. You did get into the teal. You got a fantastic, so I will leave it up to y'all if you want to continue on to the next level or if we should get back into the reading and writing. Dealer. Back to edit. Dealer's choice. Major says back to edit, so back to edits we go. Yeah. Naughty Dog with the gold, Major with the silver. Great job, everyone. I couldn't even get a single word. Because y'all stole my words on the first one, and I was just like, yeah. Nah, it's all good. Alright. Yes, we will get back to work. Hi. Hello. Alright. Let's read over our scene, see if it works, and then we can move on. Interior workspace, Dianic Witch Outpost, San Francisco. Day 1890. Margaret enters to find Hélène and Emiko looking over the marked up map of the city. Emiko, finally awake? Margaret, sorry, took a while to get to sleep. Hélène stifles a grin. Emiko redirecting. Well, we could use your help. What with? Margaret looks to Hélène, skeptical. Hélène, finding the missing witches. We're going to go through every neighborhood until we find something that can lead us to them. Emiko will go with Calixta. You'll come with me. Margaret, what if we run into hunters? Hélène, we'll follow them. If they're behind the abductions, we could find where they're keeping them. Margaret, reluctant. Look, I'm grateful for the room and taking me in, but... Hélène steps towards Margaret, comforting. I'll be with you. Meeting Helene's eye, not wanting to lose her again, Margaret forces a nod. I think that works. Montage, 1890. Day. Margaret and Hélène explore a vibrant neighborhood, searching. I feel like search and explore are redundant there. Just because they would be part of our scene heading, I'm going to capitalize day and night. Alright. Day. Margaret and Hélène explore a vibrant neighborhood. Night. Hélène kisses Margaret, trailing from her mouth, down her neck. Day. Investigating another neighborhood, Margaret and Hélène question a resident. MOS. Night. Hélène and Margaret look into each other's eyes, longing. I'm going to change this so it's not and. Margaret looks into Helene's eyes, longing. Day. Hélène inspects her map specs. Marked up map of the city. Hélène inspects the marked up map of the city, updating it from their ongoing investigation. Inspecting the marked up map of the city. Inspecting the marked up map of the city, Hélène draws another X. I don't know if draws is the word I want. Marks. There's a lot. Label, tags. No. Yeah. Inspecting the marked up map of the city, Hélène draws another X. Night. Hélène and Margaret lie in bed, wrapped in each other's arms. Exterior, grocery, Margaret Street, San Francisco, night. Exiting the shop, carrying a bag of groceries in her arm. Exiting the shop, carrying a bag full of groceries, Hélène starts back toward the Dianic Witch outpost. Hearing a rustling down an alley, Hélène pauses. Searches. Hearing a rustling down an alley, Hélène pauses, searches. Curious. She makes her way exterior alley, Market Street, San Francisco. Continuous. 1890. Hélène inches down the dark passage, scanning. Hélène inches down the dark passage, scanning. Then she spots Helene inches down the dark passage, scanning. Slowing, she spots a pair of eyes from a concealed animal, reflecting. Slowing, she spots a pair of eyes. To conceal oneself. Skulking. I like that. Slowing, she spots a pair of eyes reflecting from an animal skulking. Amiable, Helene kneels, placing the bag of groceries on the ground next to her. Kneeling, Helene places the bag of groceries on the ground next to her. Helene, it's okay. Hidden, the animal remains. The animal shrinks. Alright, so Helene inches down the dark passage, scanning. Slowing, she spots a pair of eyes reflecting from an animal, skulking. Kneeling, Helene places the bag of groceries on the ground next to her. Helene, it's okay. The animal shrinks. Helene grabs out a piece of bread from her grocery bag and extends it. From behind a pile of discarded wood, a fox emerges, its nose twitching. From smelling the fresh bread. Fox emerges, its nose twitching from smelling the fresh bread. nose twitching from finding fresh bread. Near Helene. As the fox nips the bread, Helene looks it over. It's snow white. Yeah, but Helene can sense something more, something magic. Kistu. Finishing the piece of bread, the fox circles Helene, rubbing against her, affectionate. Helene flashes a warm smile to the fox. Grabbing out another piece of bread, Helene flashes a warm smile to the fox. Grabbing out another. Grabbing out another piece of bread, the fox bolts down the alleyway. Bewildered, Helene stands, searches. No sign of the fox. I don't know if I like that word. Dumbfounded. We'll go with confounded. Confounded, Helene grabs up the bag of groceries. Makes her way back out of the alley. Alright. Exterior alley, Market Street, San Francisco, continuous. Helene inches down the dark passage, scanning. Slowing, she spots the pair of reflecting eyes. An animal skulking. Kneeling, Helene places a bag of groceries on the ground next to her. Helene, it's okay. The animal shrinks. Helene grabs out a piece of bread from her grocery bag and extends it. From behind a pile of discarded wood, a fox emerges, its nose twitching from smelling the fresh bread. It nears Helene. The fox nips at the bread. The fox nips at the bread. Helene looks it over. White with black stripes. But Helene can sense something more. Something magic. Helene. Kiss too. Finishing the piece of bread, the fox circles Helene, rubbing against her, affectionate. Helene flashes a warm smile to the fox. Grabbing out another piece of bread, the fox bolts down the alleyway. Bewildered, Hélène stands, searches. No sign of the fox. Confounded, Hélène grabs up her bag of groceries and exits the alley. Yeah, I think that works. As Naughty Dog would say, it's serviceable. Hopefully. That's what we're aiming for. It does what it does. Exactly. Alright. Exterior, Mission District, San Francisco, day. Hélène and Margaret walk down the sidewalk, inspecting the bustling residential neighborhood. I feel like if we just move bustling up there... Why... There. Hélène and Margaret walk down the bustling sidewalk, inspecting the residential neighborhood. Yeah, I think just moving that word helps it read just a little cleaner. So let's say turning a corner. Turning a corner, Hélène leads Margaret down a quiet corridor, away from the crowds. No one else in sight, Hélène steals a kiss from Margaret. Yep. Hélène and Margaret turn to find Fox looking back at them. Hélène. You again? Nevermore. Hi, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? Hope your week is going well. Margaret looks to Hélène, questioning. Hélène, we've met before. But that leaves Margaret with more questions than answers. Looking to the fox, Hélène kneels down. No worries, Major. Get some rest if you need some rest. And I hope you feel better tomorrow. And it's Friday. Yay! It's still Thursday here? Yeah, it's still Thursday here as well, but it's almost Friday. Whereas the Vikings called it Thursday. Exactly. Yeah, it might still work. Alright. This is where we pause. That leaves Margaret with more questions than answers. Just want to get a quote. Car repairs are never fun. Came out to 2K. Oof. Eesh. Yeah. Car repairs are just never anything good. Mainly body damage. Some kid hit my car 2 years ago. Oof. Yeah, I decided not. Oh, yeah. The engine was damaged, and he helped repair a lot of it. But now it's yeah. Yeah, still, it's just, it's never fun to deal with, like, car repairs and, like, having to think about it and go through the process of, you know, taking it in, getting someone to look at it, getting a quote, scheduling everything, all that stuff. It's just, yeah, it just becomes, in my experience at least, it becomes kind of like just a time sink and just takes up way too much mental space. Guy told me not to worry too much about it. I'll probably fix it in the future, like 3 months to do the online class. Just paid for online classes as well. Oh, yeah. Classes are not cheap. Helene kneels next to the fox. Helene, where'd you run off to the other night? The fox turns, swishes its tail as it glances back. But who knows? I might make some money from publishing this book in the next few months. Yeah. Yeah. Good luck. Alright. Turning, the fox swishes its tail as it glances back. Swishes its tail. Think that will work fine. Turning, the fox glances back, swishes its tail. Margaret, I think it wants us to follow? Yep. The fox barks. Helene, I think you're right. To Fox. Alright, lead the way. Fox starts down the walkway. Helene and Margaret follow. 2. Up to scene 82. We are making progress. Exterior waterfront, San Francisco. Later. The fox leads Helene and Margaret across the street to a sidewalk running along the coast. Leading Hélène and Margaret. The fox. Fox crosses. Leading Hélène and Margaret, the fox crosses to the sidewalk, running along the coast. I don't think we need that. Just meep. The fox. Pfft, that wasn't even close. Fox weaves through pedestrians. Hélène and Margaret struggle to keep up. Catching up, Hélène and Margaret find the fox sitting on the edge of the sidewalk, gazing at a dock warehouse. I believe we want pier warehouse. Margaret glances to Hélène, questioning. So, what do you... So what do you think is in there, Hélène? Not sure. Hélène looks to the fox, its eyes fixed on the building. Hélène. But I'm gonna find out. Hélène starts toward the pier. Margaret grabs her arm. Margaret, are you sure that's a good idea? I don't like that. Hélène starts toward the pier. Margaret, are you sure that's a good idea? Hélène, no. But that's not just a fox. It's like us. I can sense it. It led us here for a reason. Seeing the determination in Helene's eyes, Margaret lets go. I don't feel like we need that. Hélène nods, then kisses Margaret. Resolved, Hélène makes her way down the sidewalk to exterior pier, San Francisco. We forgot our year. All right. I think that works. Alright. 83. Exterior Pier, San Francisco. Moments later. 1890. Blending in with pedestrians. Helene strides along the main walkway. Lined by warehouses. Blending in with pedestrians, Helene strides along the main walkway, lined by warehouses. Covert, she eyes each warehouse she passes, but finds nothing out of place. Covert, she searches, but finds nothing out of place. Reaching the end, the pier, Helene pauses, wondering what the fox wanted her to find. Reaching the end of the pier, Helene pauses, wondering what the fox wanted her to find, what she might have missed. Looking out over the bay, reaching the end of the pier, Helene pauses. Looking out over the bay, she wonders what the fox wanted her to find, what she might have missed. Starting back, Helene re-examines each warehouse as she goes. Slowing, Helene spots Slowing, Helene Slowing, Helene spots a hunter patrolling a closed-up warehouse. Not wanting to be discovered, So not wanting to be discovered. Hélène shrinks, using the crowd for cover. Not wanting to be discovered, Hélène shrinks. Using the crowd for cover, she escapes to exterior waterfront San Francisco moments later. 1890. Where are we at? 80. Boat. Alright. Exterior waterfront San Francisco moments later. Is eager the right word? I feel like intent might be better. Intent. Hélène returns to Margaret and the Fox. Margaret and the Fox, new band name. Hélène, I found them. Margaret, found who? Hélène, the missing witches. I feel like because we said that before, Margaret would know. So we'll say, Hélène nods. Margaret looks to her, skeptical. Hélène nods. Margaret looks to her, skeptical. Hélène, there is a hunter by one of the warehouses. That must be where they're keeping them. I don't like let's get them. There's a hunter by one of the warehouses. That must be where they're keeping them. We could sneak in, help them escape. Yeah. We could sneak in, help them escape. Margaret, you don't know how many more hunters there might be. Hélène. What are you trying to say? You don't know how many more hunters there might be. I don't like that line, but I don't know what to change it to. You don't know how many more hunters there might be. You don't know how many more hunters there might be, Hélène. I'm not just going to leave them there, Margaret. Just let's not go rushing in there. Hunters are dangerous, Hélène. I know how dangerous hunters are. Remorseful, Margaret looks off. Margaret covering. We know where they are. Let's go back. Let's go back, figure out a plan. I don't think she'd say until Emiko. We know where they are. Let's go back, figure out a plan. If we go rushing in, and something happened, Margaret looks Hélène in the eye. I don't want to lose you. Reluctant, Hélène nods. Then she looks to the fox. Thank you. We'll make sure they're all freed. I'll get out. The fox remains. Hélène and Margaret depart. Reluctant, Hélène nods. Margaret looks Hélène in the eye, pleading. Alright, yeah. 85. Exterior waterfront, San Francisco, moments later. Tent. Hélène returns to Margaret and the fox. Hélène, I found them. Margaret, the missing witches? How? Hélène nods. Margaret looks to her, skeptical. There was a hunter by one of the warehouses. That must be where they're keeping them. We could sneak in, help them escape. Margaret, you don't know how many more hunters there might be. Hélène, I'm not just going to leave them there. Margaret, just... let's not go rushing in there. Hunters are dangerous. Hélène, I know how dangerous hunters are. Remorseful, Margaret looks off. Margaret, covering. We know where they are. Let's go back, figure out a plan. If we go rushing in and something happened... Margaret looks Hélène in the eye, pleading. I don't want to lose you. Reluctant, Hélène nods. Then she glances to the fox. Thank you. We'll make sure they all get out. The fox remains. Hélène and Margaret depart. That brings us up to 85. And we're just about at 7 o'clock. So we are at closing time for the day. So I'm going to disappear. We got an ad break finishing up here in a couple of seconds. And then we will raid out. We have a couple of different options. Let's go over there. Yeah, I looked over who was live. We'll go right over there. Alright. Yeah, we got the raid messages for anyone who wants to use them. What's the outro? Oh, I'm just joking. Yeah, I will be back on Sunday. We will pick up writing Captain Marvel 3, aka The Enemy Within. I've thought about it a bit. I think I know what kind of the next scene is shaping up in my head, so we'll be working on that. But yeah, thank you to everyone who stopped by, hung out, lurked, chatted, all the stuff, all the things. I do appreciate it. Yeah, hope everyone has a good end to their week, a great weekend, and I will see y'all on Sunday.
Thanks for checking out my channel. Do whatever you want. Live your life. Hope you're happy in your body. Much love to you. And see you around.